Story 1. Being overweight and craving food all the time. I am losing weight but think about and crave food all day long, every day. It would be nice to be a healthy weight without constantly craving food. In my dreams, I overeat though, and dream calories don't count, thank goodness. Story 2. People who can't stay loyal in relationships. Like I never understood why people do that, both in relationships or in marriage. Why cheat or have an affair? I will understand not really if it's trauma from a past relationship or because your parents did it. Why can't people just be decent and leave them? Yes, it will break their heart, but it's so much better to break up than to cheat on them. Later, they find out and are even more heartbroken. Story 3. Maybe my brain would be better. It's just a real piece of garbage. It lies to me. It tries to get me to do things it wants. Never helps with the things I want. As a matter of fact, it kind of dismisses anything I want. Makes me feel bad. Makes me believe things that aren't true. Just all around kind of being unfair. I'm sick of it. Story 4. I'm sick of the water companies in the United Kingdom neglecting their purpose. The directors give out $500 million in bonuses and dividends to shareholders and then beg the government for $500 million in funds. They include pollution and environmental fines as part of their business plan. They treat it as a tax instead of an obligation to improve services. They just use the water companies as a cash cow because they know that millions of people rely on them, which makes it awkward for the government to hold them accountable without cutting off the water supply. Story 5. Morons on Reddit complaining about every little thing that they have no control over. Stop worrying about every news soundbite. Turn off all media and have fun. Focus on the loved ones in your life, be present, and for the love of God, live and let live. If you disagree with someone, disagree. So what? Don't hate them for it. Story 6. Taxes. Every flipping tax. Federal income tax, state tax, local tax, property tax, sales tax, car registration tax, energy tax, gas tax, fuel tax, water tax, flipping sewer tax. It's too much. There isn't anything left. Story 7. People who call other people narcissists for not agreeing with them 100% of the time or for putting themselves first. If you're out here calling everyone who's not on your side a narcissist, who's the narcissist? Story 8. Politics are not addressing the significant refugee problem in my country because they don't want to be perceived as the bad people, while nearly every day some terrible incidents occur. Story 9. Binary thinking. People act like everything is either good or bad. Similarly, I'm tired of people labeling everything just because they learned some psychology vocabulary from social media. Everything is gaslighting. Everyone is a narcissist. Every nice gesture is love bombing. We're never going to see progress again if people keep this up. Story 10. Paying for every game I want to play. 2. Jobs treating me with no respect for my age and previous experiences. 3. Opera companies not casting me as a soloist. 4. Not having a beautiful girlfriend who's into gentle female dominance. Story 11. Immature adults when it comes to political opinions. I have never seen so many adults acting like children about politics than I am seeing now. The obscene, disgusting name-calling and blaming that goes on is outrageous. No wonder kids bully, beat up, and shoot each other. Listen and watch the adults everywhere, and it makes sense where they are learning their behavior. The racism coming from black, brown, and white people is so out of control. I worry for our future generations because the adults that they look to are acting like dumb babies. Adults used to be able to have a difference of opinions but still be respectful to one another. One side of the party would lose an election but still respect the President of the United States and the people who voted him in. So much hate and anger everywhere because adults can't grow up and be adults. Shame, shame, shame. Story 12. Crybabies. People that refuse to take responsibility for anything. Phonies that pretend to have high moral standards while doing nothing of substance in their actual lives. 20-year-olds who think they know everything and believe they should be running the world. Lack of common sense that some people mistake for wisdom. Greed. Selfishness. Strangers who think they know me because of my skin color and assumptions. People happily being used as pawns. The list goes on. Story 13. Men hating all women, women hating all men. In this world, there are two absolute truths. There's no lack of idiots. I'm one of them, and there are bad and evil people out there. Story 14. People wanting to nerf Steve in Smash. If it was literally any other character, I would agree, but for some reason, I feel like Steve should have special privilege. Story 15. Political debates. I don't care which way you swing, left or right. If you are a good person, you are my friend. I expect the same amount of respect for me and my beliefs. Story 16. I'm tired of backstabbing people with friendly grins. I'm tired of committing so many sins. Tired of always giving in when this bottle of Hennessy wins. Tired of never having any money. Tired of having skinny friends hooked on crack and mini-thins. I'm tired of this DJ playing your music when he spins. Tired of not having a record deal. Tired of having to deal with the nonsense without grabbing the gun. Tired of drowning in my sorrow. Tired of having to borrow $1 for gas to start my Monte Carlo. I'm tired of people spraying things and darting off. I'm tired of jobs starting off at $5.50 an hour. Then this boss wonders why I'm talking back. I'm tired of being fired every time I make a noise and cough. Tired of having to work as a gas station clerk. For this supervisor breathing down my neck driving me crazy. I'm tired of using plastic silverware. Tired of working at Builders Square. Tired of not being a millionaire. Story 17. Living in the United States is challenging in terms of quality of life. I just watched a documentary about Costa Rica and thought, I bet they don't have healthcare. However, they do. The list of top countries for quality of life rarely includes the United States. Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, and many other countries provide free healthcare, subsidized childcare, paid maternity and paternity leave, even when adopting a child. They have a better work-life balance, lower rent and housing costs, fewer instances of police violence, and less severe laws for minor offenses, among other benefits. Although taxes may be higher in some of these countries, the government provides free care helpers for the elderly. They reinvest this money into free education and healthcare. Additionally, the United Kingdom has an advantage over us in technology and electronic dance music and party scenes. If I could move, I would, but I'm stuck here. Story 18. Alcoholics and drug addicts did not get their overnight and stay on that dumb track even with a lot of forewarning. But, boy, do we all have to wear that emotional and financial burden when they reach that life-wrecking place. It sucks to share the consequences and burdens of others' reckless behaviors and watch them be stupid all the time or ditch the drama and feel guilty. Sick of them. Story 19. A passive-aggressive new person in my department. The 3 autistic ADHD women, including myself, on my floor all spotted it independently within the first few hours of her employment because we are good at pattern recognition in the behavior of other women. The neurotypical women and the men are still like, but she's so nice. Nope. Huge problem, I assure you. And we 3 are absolutely rubbing our hands together in gleeful anticipation of when the others start to catch on and we get to say, ha! Called it. Story 20. Elon Musk. He's not a genius, he's a money guy, that's it. He has no morals and meddles in things he shouldn't be allowed anywhere near. Forget Elon Musk. Story 21. Reddit is sending me notifications even after I turn them off. Why are you doing this, Reddit? I'm not subscribed, and I've turned every single one that you've sent off. Story 22. There's this way people communicate. Like you'll have a conversation with someone, and then someone not part of the conversation makes comments about it at a later time. People make assumptions about what you're thinking or feeling and express it like their own perspective in an effort for you to refute or agree. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like people using indirect communication and trying to provoke conversation. I just do not engage with this type of communication. Also, people pretending to be kind and good when they're engaging in this type of behavior, as well as telling other people's business to whoever they can. I hate those types of people because they always get away with it because their mask is so good. Story 23. Doing the same thing day in and day out, nothing changes. I can't get ahead, and I'm lucky to break even, so hot dogs and macaroni are my life, literally. Story 24. Having a finished novel that is pretty good. but I'm not motivated to get it published. I'm also not motivated to work on my next novel, even though it can pretty much write itself. I'm 67, and I need to finish the 13 books in my Frankentech series before I die, but I'm very passive about the whole process. I'm always waiting for someone else to solve my problems for me. I'm super sick of being super passive. Story 25. I am answering this question on Reddit right now. What are you super sick of? Manipulative people. People who capitalize on the suffering of others for power and greed, while masterfully hiding their sins behind the innocent. Women working in shelters who use my name and then fake their disappearance after acting poorly and opening bank accounts using my identity. The men who help them. Artificial intelligence being used for evil. Algorithms used as shells to combine apps on accounts without their users' knowledge. People from other countries playing games with the lives of Americans for profit, aware of corruption after their targets are unwillingly put in a game. Diseases put on objects or my food to hurt me. People's entire storylines and bloodlines being wiped out or manipulated for evil. People who hurt kids or separate them by manipulating the system, or who launder money through people's identities, then harm them to retrieve it after pretending to be their relative. I could go on. Story 26. My mother. For someone who is turning 70 this upcoming year, she never developed emotional intelligence. That's what makes her a bad comedian because she can't read the room. Story 27. I'm sick of seeing Trump everywhere. Trump is bad enough as president. Must he be brought into every conversation, every subreddit, every thought of our daily internet lives? Story 28. Podcasts, etc., telling you to binge watch their content. It's like if a fast food chain told you to gorge or an alcohol brand told you to drink dangerously. Story 29. Not having enough time to do everything I want. This always weighed on me. Sometimes there are just not enough hours in the day. I zone out after work, and suddenly it's bedtime, and I've done nothing. Sometimes it's more of just a general dread of time lost, especially to bad people and bad situations. As I get older, this feeling gets so much worse. Some days it feels like every minute I spend not doing something productive or enriching is a waste of the time I have left. Not scared to die, just scared of having wasted the one shot I had to enjoy things on this rock. Story 30. This apparent curse has haunted me since the age of 18. I'm 35 now, and like clockwork every 4 years, my car will have some sort of catastrophic failure. The first car I ever owned was hit head-on by a beginner driver with a learner's permit. The second car was a Subaru WRX that had transmission issues and needed to be sold to someone who had the time and knowledge to fix it. I was a college student at the time, so I couldn't do it. The third car was a 1986 Volvo 240DL that had over 500,000 miles on it until one day it would no longer start. The fourth car was another Volvo wagon, this time in 1999. It was rear-ended and totaled when I stopped for a pedestrian in a crosswalk. The fifth car was a Nissan Pathfinder. The engine failed on the freeway, and my sixth and current car just had the transmission blow out. I don't know which of my ancestors upset a which, but I'm very much over it now. Story 31. People saying to drug addicts, just stop, or why did you start? First of all, do you think it's that easy to stop? We all started for some reason, and depending on the drug, we regret it. Story 32. Me overthinking everything. Flatulence. I've tried everything. Nothing works. My addiction to my phone. My sibling constantly fighting and creating extra stress in the family. Story 33. Being so mentally tired all the time. Fighting postpartum depression with a 3-year-old and a 10-month-old and seeing no end to my misery. Not my kids, but me. I'm miserable all the time and I'm so sick of it. On a less depressing note, I'm sick of food Instagram accounts doing a reel or post, hyping up the recipe or recipes and then having to type some keyword so they can send you the recipe. Just post the recipe. Story 34. The news and media, that's why I've been trying to keep myself out. I don't want to hear about how many people died or where a shooting happened. Just keep me out of it. Story 35. Having to constantly fight to be seen, prove myself over and over, talking and not being heard. Nothing changing. Never feeling understood or valued. feeling isolated and lonely. Story 36. Politics everywhere. It's like everyone is talking about their opinions, but nothing is happening outside social media. Politicians still perform poorly, people are still dying due to a bad health system. Celebrity drama is still there. Nothing is changing, but it feels like everything is on fire. Story 37. Influencers naming their kids like they aren't going to need a job one day. It's infuriating, and I feel so bad for their kids. Just saw someone who has a bunch of kids. Their names are Sugar Love Funk, Super Capron Funk, Storm Rocky Ross Funk, and Sweetie Mary Funk. Story 38. Blatantly harmful stuff being swept under the rug. Like, in the middle of bird flu, suddenly there's a Don Julio and Popeyes collaboration? Definitely not geared and coded for certain people at all. Oh, it was a friendly wave and gesture, and not what we all know it was? Interesting. Story 39. Political opinions are everywhere. I don't care. I'm sorry, I really don't. I'd rather be friends and have fun than have an argument that neither side will gain anything from. You aren't going to listen to me and change your mind, and I'm not going to change my mind, so it's a waste of time when we could be talking about fun movies or books. Story 40. Living as a wage slave under capitalism. I lost my home on Wednesday at noon during a cold snap. Silly me, I didn't save my extra $100 a month after rent, bills, and food. So now, even if by some miracle I get to keep my new job that I just got after a year of looking, and if by some miracle I get enough money to pay first, last, and damage deposit, I'll probably always be denied because there's an eviction on my record. Hooray for getting laid off and replaced with cheaper workers that my government pays the company to hire. I'm so glad the greedy pursuit of money cost me my job, and now my home. I sincerely hope freezing to death is as calming as people have claimed. I almost can't wait to die. I keep thinking about how much better off I'll be.